Broncos country. Remember at a point around midseason, and Sean Payton talked about this in his press conference, he said in midseason he considered making this change. But remember around midseason when we were all kind of clamoring for Davis Webb to start calling plays? Because we as Broncos fans saw him do it in that one preseason game, and we were sold. And we were 100% sold. Well, here's what I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. Davis Webb will be your play caller in 2026 for the Denver Broncos. Sean Payton announced it during his press conference at the NFL Combine today, lengthy press conference, but we're here for the important bit because this is what we were waiting to hear today. Of course, it was Brandon Beane that confirmed it first for all of us, but here in Broncos country, I think it's just exciting to be excited about something in this kind of doldrum. So, welcome back to another episode of Kickin' the Can here on the Crushin podcast with your host as always, Miles Smith. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. It's just a couple easy buttons and it helps out the channel immensely. Don't forget to hit the notification bell as well, as we are only I think 87 subscribers away from that 500 mark, and I want to hit that by September. Doable goal. Help me out, Broncos country. And with that being said, let's get right in to this Davis Webb, I mean just mega news. I think an interesting place to start with the Davis Webb discourse is talking about some of the coaches that he has had around him. And I think two of the most consequential guys that I think could really give us an insight into a little bit of his offensive philosophy is Brian Daboll, offensive coordinator with Webb in 2021, and then the head coach for Davis Webb in 2022 with Buffalo and New York respectively, and Mike Kafka, the OC in New York. I think those are two guys that maybe have rubbed off on Davis Webb. There are some things that I expect to see out of Davis Webb that I think will be very exciting. I think it makes a good number of Broncos winners. Firstly, the running back room. No matter who's in the running back room, I think they are going to be leaned on just a little more under Davis Webb's play calling. Secondly, and we're going to keep these kind of short here just so I can keep the video rolling along here, but secondly is going to be Bo Nix. I think if you look at what Davis Webb did in that preseason game, and again, maybe the memory's not as fresh as it should be. I am recording this a little late. But what I just think of all of the downfield plays that we saw when he was calling plays with Jarrett Stidham that just really, it worked like butter in that game. And if he set up Jarrett Stidham for success in that kind of a game, and again, it was against backups, and you're not going to see every bit of the bag, but I still think that coaches in the preseason play more to their tendencies, even if they're not busting the super complex concepts out of the bag here. I still think you see their tendencies, and I definitely think that in that notion, Davis Webb's not going to call as many screens as Payton did. I think there will be a little more of a legitimate run game rather than trying to lean on the screen to be the extension of that, so to speak. I think Marvin Mims could be a winner here. I think he could be a huge winner. He's a guy that us Broncos faithful have been clamoring to get more time at wide receiver, proper wide receiver, for what just feels like forever. And we've seen this guy just make play after play after play, came up big in the playoffs, and I think he is justified getting some creative use in this offense. We saw what that creativity could do in 2024 in Bo's rookie season. You want to know why the offense got so much better after midseason? Because, well, part of it, a good chunk of it, was because Marvin Mims was that chess piece that Sean Payton was toying around with in the backfield, and I certainly think that that is a reason for Marvin Mims here to be considered a winner. And then overall, I definitely think we are just going to see a little more consistency. I don't think we're going to see this, full, I really don't know. And that's the thing, like, we're speculating right now. It's the offseason, we've seen none of this happen on the field, but I think something that's promising is that Davis Webb has been part of the reason why Bo Nix has developed so nicely over the past two seasons, and it hasn't been perfect, and that's why I didn't use the term perfect there, because it's been far from perfect, but I think Bo's development has come along as well as you could have asked. I think you'll take the dips with the highs, with the inexplicable highs that we have seen out of Bo Nix, especially in clutch time. And I definitely think that we're going to see a little more of an offense where Davis Webb is just going to let Bo Nix fucking sling it. And something that I think could come from this as well, especially, knowing the Dable and Kafkas of the world that Webb came from, really, before he became a coach. Something that I think is interesting to think about is they were leaning on that run game, certainly more than Sean Payton was, and, maybe Dable wasn't doing that as much in his latter years, and again, I didn't watch a ton of Giants football, so someone can let me know that for sure, but I definitely think it's going to be interesting to see how Davis Webb is able to maybe balance this offense out a little more and set Bo Nix up for more success getting the ball to his playmakers. And I definitely think that we're, again, I'm going to beat on this point a little more, that we're going to see Marvin Mims get some more creative use. And I definitely think it's wins all around right now for this Broncos offense. And again, we were clamoring for this. We are going to get what we asked for fully. And I think some other encouraging bits as well. It was something that Sean Payton said during his press conference that at first, I kind of raised an eyebrow at, but when you really think about it, if the guy with a Hall of Fame resume with a Super Bowl ring is saying that he thinks that this decision will improve the team, I think it's probably a good idea to listen to the guy with a Hall of Fame resume and a Super Bowl ring on his finger. That's just my 2 cents. That's just my gut feeling on the matter. But something else that I think is important to acknowledge is that it may take a minute for this, Davis Webb offense to get cooking. I think we're going to see a little bit of a hybrid in kind of what Dable did in New York and Buffalo under Josh Allen. And definitely a mix of Sean Payton. I'm not saying expect no screens, but I'm saying expect them less and maybe expect a little more actual groundwork. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see what the Broncos now do in the offseason and really on the offensive side of the ball, because those are just going to be more weapons for Davis Webb to really toy with here. But just another thought here is, what can he do with the guys in-house? Troy Franklin, we saw, had a really nice year 1 to year 2 jump, and I know the consistency still wasn't exactly where we wanted it, but a jump is a jump nonetheless. I mean, Franklin goes for 700 yards and just a spike in touchdowns. I would call that a win, and I'm interested to see what Davis Webb can do with Troy Franklin's abilities, and especially that year 2 to year 3 jump with Marvin Mims, who I think is a guy that is starting to come along a little more, because he was kind of considered a project when coming out of I think it was Oklahoma that he came out of. I may have to verify that real fast. Yes, I was correct. It was Oklahoma, and I think those were the Lincoln Riley years where it was kind of, go from this spot to this spot, and you'll be open, we'll hit you. And I know that Marvin Mims has been a little underwhelming on the receiver side. I think part of that is underutilization, and I'm really excited to see what Davis Webb's plan for Marvin might be, because we might actually see the jokes or the comments of we're going to get Marvin more involved this week actually bear some fruit. And I am so excited to see what that could look like in 2026. Couple more notes that I was thinking about too is it's going to be real interesting to keep an eye on what the Broncos and again, just to kind of beat home one more point, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with this Broncos offense now in the offseason to get Davis Webb some more weapons to toy with. And I just gotta say, to touch back on who I think maybe won from this promotion, I think it's Evan Ingram. I think we could see a little more emphasis on Evan Ingram's usage under Davis Webb. Now, I'm not saying we will, and again, we're just speculating here, but I think that that a little more focus on the downfield attack and then maybe some of the play action stuff going downfield with Bo especially, I definitely think Evan Ingram, assuming he stays a Bronco, could certainly see a W right here. And again, this is all speculation. I'm just a guy on the internet talking about it. That's all we are at the end of the day. So with that being said, let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts on the Davis Webb, really double promotion at this point. The promotion from the promotion, to play caller, and how you think maybe that'll impact, the Broncos offense in 2026. And again, don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Turn on notifications. Helps out the channel immensely. Of course, keep an eye out for some of our future content here. Hopefully sometime this week, maybe Thursday, we'll have the Broncos award show up from the 2025 season, the end season awards, and then hopefully around late March, early April is when we'll have the 2025 Broncos retrospective up. It's going to be a big video, and I am excited as hell to show that to you guys. So again, don't forget to like and subscribe for all of that, help the channel grow, all that fun stuff. And with that being said, I will see you all in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and this is Miles signing off until next time.